More news coming up in just a few minutes. First, though, let's check on sports. Alastair Connolly is live on location tonight with a special guest. Alastair.
Tony, thank you. Yes, I find myself in a leafy Barrie suburb and stumbled across an interesting scene. One of the neighbours coming over to this house saying, "So, how were the Olympics?" As you do. The reason for that is because the young lady living here is Megan Lukan, Olympic Rugby Sevens bronze medalist.
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you answer that question? How were the Olympics?
I mean, it was phenomenal. I think for me the best part was being surrounded by so many great athletes, and just to play at that level was amazing. And I think that's what I enjoyed the most, was just being there with so many athletes that are so great at their sport, and to cater all those sports in the same area. That was pretty cool. And
to perform in that bronze medal match, so important.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I don't even think words can describe it. I mean, we set out a goal to get a medal, and we had the opportunity to get it, and we did, so that was fun. Which
brings us to the next point. You did get a medal. We talked to you while you were still in Rio, and you said you'd show it to us when you got back.
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, describe what it's like having it. What do you do with it? Do you keep it close at all times?
No, well, I mean, it's pretty heavy, first of all, but I think I've just tried to showcase it as much as I can to anyone who wants to see it, and give them the opportunity to hold it and really take a look at it, because I think it is very rare that you get to see one of these or be a part of it or have some hand in it.
And you're a celebrity now. You got invited to the Barrie Baycats last night to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. What's it been like, the sort of just, you know, the pressure for your attention since?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been so nice to have everyone reach out and congratulate me, and I think the best part is, or most heartwarming or warm-hearted part for me, is just that so many people care, and that it really does inspire them. And for me, I just play in a sport that I love to play, and so the fact that it does inspire so many people just really warms my heart. And yeah, it's just phenomenal.
Very nice. Well, I will apologise for riling you up by wearing my England shirt to this shoot. We're going to hear more from Megan later on in the show, and she's not the only Olympic bronze medalist we're talking to tonight.
Time for sports, and we're going to head back over to Barrie's own Olympic house. Alastair is live with Rio bronze medalist Megan Lukan.
Thank you, Tony. Well, this is a house rugby has taken to the next level recently, but it was built on an entirely different sport, as you saw just before the break there. Megan Lukan may have come back from Rio with a bronze in rugby sevens, but first and foremost, you're a baller.
Yeah.
Team Canada basketball to Team Canada rugby at the Olympics. How do you make that transition?
Well, for me, it was always basketball in the picture when I was younger, and I think I always thought that I would pursue that as far as I could. But when I was in high school, it was the first time I got introduced to rugby as well, and I played both sports and absolutely loved it. And then I went to college for basketball, and while I was there, the coaches from the rugby team got in touch with me and asked if I wanted to come out. So I made that transition last year, and it's been pretty amazing.
Well, you're clearly a tremendous athlete. You make it sound so easy. Sure, I'll just pick up another sport and play it internationally. However, I know when you had finished playing rugby in Rio, we talked and you said you were looking forward to going and watching the Canadian women's basketball team. How good was it to see them out there, some of your friends obviously in that program?
Yeah, it was awesome going to see them. I was really excited to watch them play, especially since I knew a handful of them and really played with a lot of them for a whole year. I was the first team I was ever centralized with for one specific sport was when I was in grade 11 with Nita, and 3 of those girls were on that Olympic team. So it was really cool to catch up with them and see what they're doing, and I had a blast.
You're back home now. Just very briefly, what's next?
I'm going to head back out west, but I have some time off, so I'm actually to France on Sunday to go see my boyfriend, spend some time with him, watch him play some rugby, and then
another Canadian international rugby player.
Yeah.
Serious power couple of rugby, absolutely. Well, Megan wasn't the only one bringing back a bronze medal from Rio. Women's soccer team thrilled us just as they had in London 4 years ago, and today Mike Arcelidis caught up with one member of that team. We certainly hope that is the case. Well, the Barrie Baycats are now just 3 wins away from a championship three-peat. They are in Toronto this evening for game number 2 against the Maple Leafs, having won last night at the Barrie Sports Complex. The Stars were out on the mound for that one. That, of course, was new friend of the show, Megan Lukan, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. Then the Baycats' Emelise Guerrero came on to try and continue to terrorise playoff opponents. The man from the Dominican Republic was his usual dominant self through the first 5 innings. and Kevin Atkinson slicing RBI double in the 4th staked Guerrero to a 1-0 lead. Toronto struck with 3 runs in the 6th, capped by a 2-run home run from Justin Mara. Merrick Deska cruised through 7 innings for the Leafs, but when he left, Barrie got to reliever Brett Van Pelt in the bottom of the 8th inning. Glenn Jackson walked, Kyle DeGray singled, and then Jordan Castaldo cleaned things up with a 3-run homer to give the Baycats a 4-3 lead. Adam Hawes closed the door in the 9th to pick up a save as it finished 4-3 to Barrie. And the Baycats, of course, lead the series 1-0 heading to Toronto tonight. In Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays had a tough night against one of their divisional pursuers. J.A. Happ gave up homers to Steve Pearce and then Manny Machado in the 5th. Those gave the Baltimore Orioles a 3-1 lead. On to the top of the 7th, though, and we had ourselves a tied ball game. That was thanks to a 2-run blast from Captain Canada Michael Saunders. Happ was gone by the time the game was lost in the bottom of the 8th. Jason Grilli had a rare blemish on his Jays career so far as Matt Wieters hit the go-ahead 2-run home run off the reliever. Baltimore won 5 runs to 3. On the bright side, Boston lost 4-3 to Tampa Bay last night before then beating the Rays this afternoon. So it's now a 1.5 game divisional lead for Toronto. There's disappointing news today for the local lacrosse scene. The Canadian Lacrosse League, or CLAX, is folding. The professional league has operated throughout Ontario for 5 seasons, but the ownership group has decided, along with league officials, it's no longer financially viable. The Barrie Blizzard won the Creeders Cup as league champions in 2015. Since the league began, it had seen more than 40 players go on to play in the National Lacrosse League.
Shock was a bit of it, but at the same time, we're in business, and we could see that there were some pretty empty stadiums that we were playing in, and you know, you just kind of figure out, is it going to come and when? And unfortunately, it was today. Right now, the players are stuck in limbo. I mean, in the wintertime, there are really no options. There might be a few men's leagues, some recreational type stuff, but there's nothing on the competitive level that's offered that in comparison to what CLAX was offering those guys.
The best senior golfers in the country are in our area this week to compete for a national title. Tangle Creek Golf and Country Club is hosting the PGA Seniors Championship of Canada. 70 players teed off today for the first round of the 54-hole tournament. The event is steeped in history, having first been held back in 1938. There are several local hopes among a very strong field.
These are really fine players, and if they were playing at your club, they'd be among the best players at your club for sure, even at the age of who they are. They all have that golf swing that's been around since they were kids, and they may not hit it quite as far at times as they used to, but they certainly know how to play the game of golf.
Now then, back at Megan Lukan's house. I know she wasn't entirely happy with the first pitch she threw out last night at the Baycats game, so we're going to give her one more shot live on TV. The pressure's still there a little bit, but hopefully not as good. Show us what you got, Megan.
Let's see.
Boom! Okay, there you go. See, a little bit high and tight, but a lot of power. Enjoy that. Yeah. Thank you very much. Megan, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hand you back in and just remind you that in 2020, baseball will be an Olympic sport. Do not rule out this young lady going for a 3rd sport and Olympic glory. Tony.